Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy, Ricky Liordi.
And it's your other pal, Jordan Boutsalis.
And this one is a chat with your pals.
LFG, my pal.
Let's go.
All right, let's get a vibe check. Mic check.
We are re-upped on the vibes. If you're watching on YouTube, we've got us close-up of us because it's just me and Georgie, our pals.
What's up, guys?
And if you're not watching on YouTube, just go check it out anyways because it's dope.
You know
if you haven't been following along lately, we got a new studio designed by Anthony Ricciardi. These lovely hearts behind us. It is so sick.
Yeah, I'm not just saying this because it's obviously like this couch. Also, if you guys have noticed it, this couch, it makes a squeaking noise. If you do notice it, give us a comment. We will try and fix it, but we can hear it here. Don't know if you can hear it. Anyways, not the point. To Ricky's point, yeah, if you guys haven't watched on YouTube yet, I think most of our listeners come from like Spotify and Apple. Yeah. But honestly, it's pretty cool, and we'd appreciate the views on YouTube. So guys, if you haven't seen the studio yet, open your YouTube on your phone, or if you're sitting at home and have a smart TV, flip up the YouTube and stream this episode from there because we did our hair today, so we're trying to look good for you guys. All right. Anyways,
I did not, but
yeah, I know. So
I shaved my beard. So
it's good.
Hey, you got much different. Well, you know what we're gonna do? First things first.
Yeah.
We didn't announce our contest winner on Monday night, like I said we were gonna. So we're gonna do that now. We had 100. Show them up into the camera. So I posted it on Instagram. It's the Vitaly Ricciardi collab, and it is sick. The necklaces are so nice. Bring it up to the camera so they can see. And so all proceeds, not just total revenue created from these hearts, these necklaces, are being donated to charity, which is super insane. So big shout out to Vitaly. Even bigger shout out to Anthony Ricciardi, one of our previous guests, who was amazing. I think they've raised over like 25 grand or something doing these hearts. So huge shout out to them. So while Georgie's keeping you company, I'm going to pull up the winners on a random generator online. Again, we had 171 entries. That's good. I'm happy with that.
Are you going to do that? While you do that, I'm going to give a little shout out to Anthony. Guys, if you haven't seen yet, or have you shared about Anthony's... sorry, guys. Also, I'm going to be asking some questions to Rick because I don't have social media anymore, like I mentioned at the end of our last episode. So a little bit out of the loop. Did you share what Anthony's doing for the 30 days?
Talk about it quickly. I've shared a little bit.
Yeah, so Anthony Ricciardi, our awesome pal who did this, and one of the most interesting people I think we've ever met. Shout out you, Anth. He's doing like 30 days of custom pieces, one piece a day for 30 days. I was looking at his website today, some incredible pieces and some unique ones, some very different ones, stuff I guess that I haven't seen him do before. So anyways, if you guys want to go check it out and support, you can go to his website, Ricciardi Paints. RicciardiPaints.com. Check out what he's doing. It's a different thing every day. He kind of outlines them. There's some surprise dates or some surprise drops as well that he, I guess, hasn't posted yet. Really exciting stuff. There's some stuff for kind of all ranges, all tastes, all price, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, guys, go support him. Great guy, and obviously he was kind enough to do this. And yeah, check it out. Back to you, Rick.
All right. So I'm on the move.
Okay.
I'm on the move right now because I want to show the camera so people don't think we're cheating. Because Vishal won our last contest, and I had one person say, "Oh, he's your best friend." That's not fair. I said, "Well, you know what? He entered the contest just like everybody else." So there are a couple of people that cannot win these contests, like AKA our parents and our brothers and sisters,
and us, obviously,
us. But here you go. If you're watching on YouTube, 171 entries. I start at number 2 because the first one is us tagging random podcasts.
Put your body in front of it so it zooms to your body. Because if you hold just the phone, there you go.
All right, people. I'm up and close and personal.
If you're not watching on YouTube, I highly recommend it. Rick looks ridiculous.
So 106 is the first answer. There you go. You saw it. The first winner. And the second winner is 12.
106 and 12.
So I will, if it focuses any time now, that'd be great. Whatever. It's fine. It's 12 and 106.
All right. So
George, keep them company.
You gonna count that out?
Yeah, I'm gonna count it out. So keep the listeners company for a couple minutes.
So I was born in. Oh, fun fact! This is a big fun fact. So I wear my. I don't know how I figured this out. I wear my my baptism cross. What do you call it? Anyways, the cross you're giving your baptism. I still wear it very, very regularly. Rarely do I take it off. And I never really paid attention to the date. There's an encryption on the back of the cross, and has a date. And it's actually today, November 18th. Yeah. Today, November 18th, 1990. 30 years ago today, I was baptized. Fat little George dunked into a tank in the Greek Orthodox Church.
Screaming.
Just like, full out in the nude in my birthday suit. So that's a little fun fact for buddy. I thought that was really cool. I've never noticed that, and the chance of discovering this last night was pretty cool. So anyways, besides that,
I think we got to pick another winner. I think I'm number 12.
Come on.
Oh, here we go. Newest first. Okay, so there we go. Pardon. Okay, so.
You showed in the new Instagram?
Yeah.
So another note, like I said, I'm not on social media, so let's talk about me here.
Sempi87. Actually, I know this guy from high school, Anthony Simplicio. Shout out. You listen. So big shout out to you. You won a sweater and the necklace. And the second winner is number 106. I got to get there. So,
as I was saying before Ricky cut me off, this part's about me. So, I got off social media 2-3 weeks now. I deactivated my Instagram. I deactivated Twitter. Today I deleted Facebook. Completely deleted. Not that I ever used it, but haven't been on it for a while. I am a big fan of LinkedIn. Still on it. So if you want, hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to chat, because you can't really find me anywhere else. But I will say, guys, the last few weeks has been some of the most clear mentally I think I have been since I don't know when. And not to say that you're not clear mentally, you can't think straight on a daily basis. For sure you can, but I've found that it's just a big time suck. Social media, the stuff takes a lot of time, and you're always checking your phone. It becomes a habit. You're bored you're watching a movie, commercial comes, watching a movie, and scene's boring, grab your phone, all that stuff. Anyways, I'm not trying to get all deep and profess here about how I found some new awakening, but haven't been on it, and it's been pretty great. So if anyone wants to hit me up, I'm not going to give my phone number out on this, but if you want to hit me up for any reason, want to chat, want to be friends again, LinkedIn, hit me up. Back to you, Rick.
we have another big winner. I don't know who this is, so this is very exciting. Cookie Gigan. I know, but it looks like they've entered a bunch of times, and they were number 106. So, Cookie Gigan, if you listen to this, I'll hit you up on Insta.
Shout out Cookie.
Cookie and Simplicio. So, those are the winners of the Vitali Ricciardi necklace and Pals podcast sweater. Thank you guys for entering. We're going to run more contests, obviously, but that's a wrap on the contest for now. And then, yeah, Georgie, let's get into some other exciting stuff. For the people...
Just out of curiosity, when you were counting, did you hear anything I said?
Yeah, I did.
You want me to repeat it all? No. I was really sure, because I always do that as a joke. I'm not joking, but I can't multitask.
Talk about how you were on social media. You feel really clear if people want to find you.
I wasn't trying to quiz you. I just actually was shocked because I can't do two things at once. You know that.
No, you're terrible.
That's why I was curious, because you're counting. I was like, I wonder if you can hear what I'm saying.
I thought you deleted Facebook today. Actually deleted it.
How'd you do that? How'd you multitask, bro?
I'm a good listener.
I've also realized too, one thing I actually read recently, that like you can't really you shouldn't really be focusing on that many things, like multitasking, all that stuff. And I actually thought that I was an expert multitasker. I actually thought I could juggle all these things. So I would read like 3 books at a time and have like 5 websites open trying to do all these things, and then talk to somebody and then be on my phone. And then I realized I'm not taking anything in. So I've now realized that, tone it down a little bit. Don't try to do everything.
100%, bro.
Okay, enough getting all deep and philosophical.
Well, no, we're about to get deep.
Are we?
We're about to get deep in our marathon talk.
What a bad segue. But let's go into it.
Let's get into it. For our pals, listeners, we ran a marathon. Georgie and I, all 190 pounds of us each.
Thanks, be generous. Like close to 198, 200.
Awesome. I'm like 191.
I may have gained a couple pounds. I had a whole McCain cake on the weekend. That ain't a joke.
But yeah, man. So how it all started, Georgie called me up one day, and he's been training low-key for this Athens marathon, and he kind of stopped once it got canceled, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You kind of stopped training for it.
I got the email in like early October. I kind of figured it wasn't going to happen regardless. So like my sister was pregnant, so that was obviously like a big hindrance. I wasn't going to go somewhere where...
Yeah, of course.
To come back and put my family in jeopardy, obviously. But also that... add on top of that travel is restricted, so I wasn't going to coordinate in 2 weeks. And then the nail in the coffin was it got canceled like maybe a month out, mid-October, and it was early October, and it was supposed to be first week of November, second week of November. Yeah.
So you basically kind of stopped training for it. I did not train at all, but you called me up and you're like, Rick, it's supposed to be really nice this weekend. You want to go for a run? I was like, yeah, I'm down. You're like, hey, let's run a marathon. I was like, yeah. Why not? Okay, so we planned it. It was well planned. Everyone's like, oh, what was the marathon? I'm like, I don't know. It was just the Pals marathon.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Scotiabank? Nope.
Which if anyone's interested in joining, we might make it a thing. Maybe do it for charity. Hit us up. If you want to run a marathon with us anytime, let us know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll do it regularly, but like let's gauge interest.
We'll do one a year.
Let's gauge interest.
I'm going to run a marathon a year for the rest of my life.
That's a bold statement. Okay.
Considering I did it off, we'll get to the story. So so I didn't train at all, and we had this planned out Saturday morning. Beautiful day, 15, 16 degrees.
Yeah, it was nice.
This was last Saturday. It was just gorgeous day. So we met at my place, King and Spadina, and you want to tell them the route?
You planned it.
So I did.
You actually did really good. So just also let's back up a second. So I wanted to run this marathon, and while I do think that personally I have good mental strength, so I would do it. I mean, I'm not built like a runner, but I can just kind of push through it. But it's daunting. And the point I was getting at is I don't think I would have done it by myself. Like I could do a marathon by myself. If I was entered a race with people around, for sure I could. And I might even be able to start it just because of my confidence or ego, whatever, and I would have gone. But realizing what I know now, I would not have been able to finish had Ricky not joined me, which is crazy because I was just like, hey, you want to run a marathon? He's like, yeah, sure, I'm down. I'm like, okay. Maybe I didn't explain that properly. And then he's like, I'll plan the route. So then you plan the route?
Yeah, so and you know what? I agree with what you said. There's a 0% chance I would have finished that if it wasn't for you. Because when we hit the 30...
the vibes were fading pretty quick.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So I planned the route. I was at my computer this one day after work, probably 6 o'clock, and I was on Google. I'm like, okay. You know what? I'm like, we start downtown. We'll go to George. We'll run to George's parents' house in Port Credit. I had to get a ride to my parents' house after. I'm like, George, you give me a ride? He goes, no problem. So you think downtown Toronto to Port Credit, yeah, it's got to be 42 kilometers. Nope, not even close. It's like 27. So just to put it in perspective, if you're from the city of Toronto, you know where downtown Toronto is to Port Credit, which is almost Oakville, is like 30.
Close to, I wouldn't say it's close. I know what you mean.
I think Oakville's, from my condo to Oakville's not even 40 kilometers.
If you're taking the Gardner. Yeah. Like Port Credit's like Lauren Park, then it's Oakville. But yes, I know.
So it was, so we started off at King and Spadina. We headed east towards Leslie, so Queen and Leslie area. Then we started going south to the lake.
Down to Commissioners.
And we ran down Cherry Beach for a little bit. Did a nice little loop around there.
We hit a dead end. We tried to go across Cherry Beach, hit a dead end, had to like circle back a little bit, not too much, and then went down Cherry Street.
And we were still feeling really good because we walked the first 3 or 4K, 4 or 5K. Then we ran a good 10, and we were feeling good. You know, we had the energy going, the vibes were up. We had no music at this point too. We were just shooting the shit, talking, like getting creative and
talking about cast, but we'll get into that another time.
Yeah, talking about the podcast. We were just going. The juices, the creative energy, the vibes are at an all-time high. So then we hit around the 15K mark. I think we walked for another 3 or 4K from there.
Yep.
Then we're down on Lakeshore. So Lakeshore is a beautiful run. If you're from Toronto, you know that any part of Lakeshore is a nice run from basically Yonge all the way to Windermere, past Windermere to Mimico area. It's such a nice run along lake and beautiful day. There were so many people out. We saw people. Shout out Sam Mele. Shout out
Chris Tersini, Mel Tersini.
Mel Tersini. Who was the first person we saw too? We saw another person before we saw Sam. Driving.
Oh, Greenway.
Marty Greenway. So we saw a good group of people.
Driving.
We saw someone driving at the beginning. Didn't we? They drove by us? Whatever.
No. I think I saw Speedo Ketsikara. Shout out to Speedo. I don't know if you listen to this, but I think he was biking past us. I forgot to message him. Anyways, if I saw you and you're biking that day, shout out.
Yeah, so on the lake, it was good. So we probably ran another 7 or 8 at that point.
Yep.
And that took us to about, give or take, the 27, 28 kilometer mark. Then we popped out of the lake onto Lakeshore. This is Lakeshore in Mimico. So we're not running on the lake. We're on an actual street that just runs basically just north of the lake. And we stopped in the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, we grabbed some
water, Gatorade, tried to get some fruits. And that's when it started to get tough.
Yeah.
So we walked a K, ran a K. And then we're in Mimico area, Etobicoke area, and that's when it started. We're about the 33 kilometer mark. The feet started to hurt. I think
to
you had
this
some
point,
shin splints or something.
The ball on my right foot was hurting. Other than that, I was okay. I had a bit of a shin splint on my right leg. Surprisingly, I wasn't in that much pain. Like my left knee the next day hurt. But just to back up too, so we didn't really eat anything. So I had like 2 before the race started, or before our race started. We had.
It is a race, it's not our race. It's a race.
It's a race.
F yeah.
I had like we started the race at 9. 9. Just before, 9. So I woke up at 7. I had 2 pieces of like toast, 2 pieces of rice cake, plain rice cakes with like avocado and some seasoning on them. And Rick had like a bagel, like some rice or something. What did you have?
I had a bagel and one of those like microwavable dinners.
Oh, like
rice and chicken and pineapple.
Lean cuisine or something.
Yeah, one of those.
So So when Rick's saying we hit 33K, or even before that, like when we hit 27 at the 7-Eleven, something like that, we hadn't eaten to that point. It was already 4 hours in, I think.
About 3.5, yeah.
3.5, because then from there on it took us about 2. Yeah, so it was about, to that point, we left at, first meal I had was like 7, Rick was like 8. We'd been running at that point 3 hours, so 9, 12. So we hadn't eaten anything. All we had was Goo energy packs, the Goo caffeine energy like chews. Rick had half of the bagel left in his fanny pack, and then we had like Gatorade and water, and that's all we had. I don't know about you personally, I wasn't hungry at any point, really.
No, not until it started to become hell.
Like I didn't get even the energy. Like I didn't feel that I needed any point. I think I was like pretty jacked up. But then from that point on, you kind of felt like the home stretch. But then you don't realize how far it is.
When we hit that church, we hit this Ukrainian or Polish church. I think.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those two churches.
That's at like Long Branch in Lakeshore.
Yeah, and I've got very flat feet. Anybody who's seen me walk on the beach or near some water.
How many people have seen you walk on a beach?
Well, just because you see my feet in the sand, and it just looks like a rectangle. There's no arch. You know, you know how a normal foot's supposed to look.
Yeah.
There's the arch, so there's a bend in the toe.
Like,
mine's just like a big blob. Looks like Sasquatch. So my feet were starting to kill, and I thought I had decent shoes. Apparently not. So my feet, we had to stop. I had to take off my shoes. I'm like, I got to take them off. From that point on, that's when it got hot, and then.
So wait, let's like go one at a time, because like that part was one of the hardest we stopped, because we stopped a couple just to stretch like our ankles, our like whatever calves, small minor stuff. That when we stopped to sit there, that's when it almost ended for both of us, I think, because I didn't realize that like, I mean, I think you kept going pretty good, but like even at that point you're pretty banged up. I went to go stretch so when my knee gets tight, I get this thing in like I guess I don't know what the ACL or MCL, but the inside of my knee, just from constant pounding when I run. And my knee was getting tight, so I went to go stretch it. And usually I do like I'll pull my leg back like that dancer's pose, whatever it's called, where you stretch your leg back. Yeah. And then I also put my leg across do a figure 4. So the first stretch I wanted to do is we just stopped running after running 28 to that point or something. Went to go pull my leg back, and my hamstring like shot up to my ass. And it felt like I could feel like almost like wrapping up. Oh. And I thought I snapped it. Like it didn't hurt, but I could feel it going up. So I went to straighten my leg. Then it started cramping. I was hopping around. I was like on the other side of the thing. Yeah. So I walked around, and like luckily it was okay. Like it stretched out pretty fast, but I thought at that point it was done. I was like, I can't keep running. And then just stretched, and it kind of went away. But that was the one point. That was for me the one point that was like, this is gonna stop me from finishing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're about 30K in, 32, 33, 34, and we're in the. I don't want to say the ugly run part. Yeah. So at that point, we were still running by people and things.
We were going through like
Cawthra,
Dixie, which is like a very like
industrial kind of area.
There's a lot of power plants on the south side there.
Like
it's
car dealerships, but nobody's there. It's not like you're walking by, you see people throwing signs up in the air, new car for sale. Like there's nothing happening on this.
Yeah, that area is pretty desolate. Like there's not a whole lot. It's a lot of industry and like old retail stores and not a lot going on.
Like old apartment buildings and stuff. So
yeah, we
were in there, and that's when, for me personally, that's when I really started to fade. And we were 35 kilometers in. So there's no way we weren't finishing it at this point. I'm like, even if we need to walk the rest, I'm finishing it, because we're at 35K at this point. There's no way to stop now.
Yeah.
So you probably carried the last 7 kilometers. Because if it wasn't for you, I would have walked the entire last 7 kilometers. Like I couldn't feel my feet.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad at some points, because not that I could have ran.
No, I definitely slowed you down
a
bit. Yeah, I definitely slowed you down.
But at the end of the day, that's the thing too. I was just trying to finish it, because I didn't realize how hard it was. Like during my training, the most I had ran was 30K in like early September. And then as I kind of realized that it wasn't going to happen, the marathon, I started to like cut back a bit. I wasn't running. I would do like long runs on Sundays. Didn't happen. So anyways, even when I got to like 26, 27, I started hitting the wall. When I got to like 30 and 32, I was like, I'd never run this far. 33. But then when we got to Lakeshore and Cawthra, and we had about 5K left or something. And the thing is, we kind of misjudged it. We had like 5K left, but my parents' house was only like 3K. So we started like running. We started walking intervals, like 1K on, walk a kilometer, something like that. Like just as we felt.
I think we were doing like 100 meters each at this point.
Something, yeah. It was a struggle. We were all hobbling.
Oh yeah. Like put it in perspective, our walks, when we started walking, we're at 12-minute pace per kilometer. Our runs were at like 8.5-minute paces at this point. Slow. And to give you context, when we first started walking, our walk was 8.5, 9 minutes when we first started walking, and our runs were like 5.5, 6 minute paces. So we basically fully doubled our time at that point.
Yeah, it was really, really hard at that point.
It was a struggle. It was a real grind.
And then we got up towards like near my parents' house and we had like 2K left. And shout out to my sister Georgia. She calls me and I'm like,
shout out Mark.
Well, no, my sister called me first.
Oh, did you?
My sister. Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Mark. Pulled up when we were like, that's when we were saying around like the 30, we had 4 or 5K left. We were really fading, really fading. And Mark kind of fired us up, came and like stopped on the side of the road there. So Mark, shout out to you. Thank you.
Sick orange hat. I'll never forget that orange hat.
Looking like a cool hunter out there in the middle of Mississauga, baby.
Sick orange hat.
And then we get closer, like 2K now. We're like 200 meters.
Stretch.
We're like 200 meters from the house, but we have 2K left. We stop at the gas station there to get some water because we got to sprint this last bit. My sister calls us and she's like, "Where are you?" Because I guess Mark had told her
we were coming
where
up
we were
Lakeshore.
going to be up Lakeshore. She yells at me, "What the?" I'm not going to say it, but she swears. I'm like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "How is she mad at me? I'm just finishing a marathon. Like, what did I do now?" And she's like, "Oh, whatever." She like, "Okay, we'll see you at the house." So anyways, I didn't know what was going on. Then we run back and see Mark and he explains that, "Oh, they came down to cheer you on." So shout out to my sister and mom. Honestly, you guys are amazing.
Massive shout outs.
Yeah, George, Anastasia, you're the best. So anyways, then we had 2K left. They were trying to run through the neighborhood.
Yeah, we're running through the neighborhood. And it was a grind through the neighborhood. And George took us up some streets that had some steep hills. And I'm like, bro, this is your neighborhood.
Steep, rolling
You
hills.
grew up in this neighborhood. How do you not take us down those flat roads? But whatever. At this point, I'm so tired. And my mind's playing tricks on me. I don't know if it's hot. I don't know if it's cold because the sun's starting to set.
You really like feeling that?
So I was like starting to get weirded out.
We haven't really talked about the last little bit at all.
Yeah, we never talked.
We just talked about like
we
on
didn't
the
go
run.
the last little bit in the neighborhood. Again, at this point, the sun's starting to set, so it's not that hot anymore. So like my tarp's on, and
Rick's tarp's off for the record. If you saw us Lakeshore, no tarp.
Yeah, no tarp.
That's why he wanted to run.
Yeah. So then at one point, I'm like, I don't know if I'm hot or if I'm cold. Like my mind's playing.
It was a
tricks
little
on me.
chilly there.
Yeah, it started to get a little chilly because we're in the shade and a little bit of wind. So then I remember you look at me, you're like 1 kilometer left, like LFG, and I'm like, fuck, let's go.
Yeah, but at first you're like doing
Do you know when you can't say, you know if you're saying yes or no? It's like your head's just going like an X motion. So we started, and then he's like 1 kilometer left, and we're turning down the streets. We're crisscrossing. We're turning. At this point, again, I know where George's parents live, and I know the area a little bit. But when you're this tired and you're this just kind of dazed and confused, you don't know what street it is. Yeah. He's like, "We're almost there, man. Like 500 meters." And in the distance, I just see Mark
Yeah.
Corsetti's orange hat. I don't even see a body. I don't see the house. I just see the top of the orange hat. And we like look at each other. We're like, "Let's go."
You know when you're like, you know in like movies when you kind of see, you know when you see like a tarmac and there's like heat waves rolling around it?
Yeah,
it's like almost like an optical illusion. So you see like the heat coming off of it, and then you see this car coming out in the distance, like some like crazy rock and roll music, like cruising in. We're running up, so the road arcs a little bit, not much. So the house is here, we're on this end here. So I'm pointing to 2 separate sides. We're coming up in the far end, and they're down low. So as we're running up, you can see the peak of Mark's orange hat start to sprout up. And then I started speeding up a little bit. Then as Ricky speed up, I was like, "All right, we got this.
Let's go."
And we started like pretty close to a sprint.
Yeah.
Whatever we could give, we gave.
We gave whatever we had.
Yeah. And we crossed the finish line, and
technically we ran further than the finish line.
We did 4 points.
Never brought that up yet.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be 42.2, and when we hit the street, we turned onto my parents' street. I knew we already hit it, but I was like, "Well, I see them there now. We can't stop." So we basically pushed an extra 300. I was worried had I told Rick, you would have just stopped and walked the rest.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think you would have because we were fired up. And also this helped too. While you continue, Rick. But.
So and even the annoying part is my app kept stopping. So I had the auto pause on and off. So I only hit 41.1 on my app when George's app was 42.5, and we obviously ran the exact same. So I didn't even get the badge on my Nike app, but at this point I didn't care. I'm like, I'm done.
We literally have to go like a couple hundred feet farther.
I don't need the badge on Nike. I just wanted to finish.
Oh, I need that badge.
And when we crossed the finish line, George's awesome family had these for us.
Yeah, so I didn't know this. This is why my sister swore at me and got mad because I took the time. My mom and my sister took the time out to make us signs, which is awesome. And you don't realize how motivating this is when you see it at the end. Like we got really like fired up, and yeah, it was honestly really nice. And yes, I'm an uncle now, so that's why it says Theo George. So yeah, we're gonna keep these somewhere in the studio.
Yeah, for sure. They're gonna step.
Anyways, at the end, like Honestly, I wasn't as sore as I thought at the end. Like, kind of got over it. We also just sat in like ice, little kiddie pool filled with ice in the back, which really helped. So that's one tip. If you're gonna run a marathon, have bags of ice prepared. Thank you again to my mom for going out and picking those up. We had like 10 bags of ice.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I think for
All in all,
it was good. It was a good day. I don't recommend doing it without any training or by yourself, because there are times when you have someone else and your brain is just like not functioning properly. To have someone there with you, be like, man, we're almost there. You know, let's go. And I'm sure there's times where you were fading and I was fading, and like you feed off each other's energy and vibes, obviously. But the big thing for me that I took out of that was the mental strength that it takes to do these things. Like, and I've said this before, I'm probably in the worst shape of my life physically, but mentally I'm the sharpest I've ever been. And if I would have tried this, 2-3 years ago when I was in some of the best shape of my life, do I think I could have done it? Probably. But, finishing is something when your body's not meant to do it, but your mind knows you can do it, is just a satisfying feat.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So that was one thing I took out of it. And do you know what? Doing it with your pal is, again, it was a great Saturday. We can look back, and that was an awesome, beautiful day, November, running a marathon, out of the blue. Just good vibes.
Yeah, I think the best part about it was just being outside. Number one, we were outside for 5.5 hours. So we left at 9 a.m. We finished at 1:30. Is that right?
No, 3.
Wow, bad math.
Yeah.
No.
We finished around 3. So it was just under 6 hours. 5 hours.
Sorry, it was like 5 hours,
yeah.
45. Yes. We stopped.
It was just before 3.
Yes. Now, a couple of things that I just wanted to finish it. My goal, like I said at the beginning, was to run this marathon, but just to finish. Do I think I could have gone a little faster? Sure.
For sure I slowed you down, especially at the first 30, we were good.
Yeah.
The last 12, I slowed you down a bit.
Yeah,
sure.
but again, the me, the best thing I got out of it is the first 15K, like we said, we literally talked the bit. We would jog and talk. That's another thing too, is running at a nice comfortable pace is key. Don't come out the gate too hot. But we have to walk and talked about some ideas for the podcast, for a few other things. And yeah, it was awesome. Just being outside that day, I think that was one of the last, that day and the following day, I think were the last really good days of the year so far. I mean, who knows? Maybe the weather will change again, but it was 16 degrees. We ran in shorts and I think I had a long tee on, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. To that point, I think the biggest thing is knowing that you can do something mentally is pretty rewarding. I don't think I'm in the best shape I've been in terms of that kind of endurance type stuff. But I've run a couple half marathons. I've done one on a lot of training. My first one, I did one on no training, more or less, just not to lose a bet. And I don't know how you did it on no training, because when I had run a half on no training, it was terrible. And the next day, my legs were shot, my knees were shot. Yeah, honestly, it was awesome. And if anybody wants to run a marathon or is thinking about it, hit us up. Happy to share some tips and stuff that we learned along the way. The biggest things I would say is hydration, super key, because getting shin splints, getting cramps, all that's gonna happen. But if you're not hydrated, you can really put yourself in some trouble. Yeah. But honestly, overall, happy I did it. Didn't think I could do it, and I mean, at the beginning I did. My ego was definitely getting the best of me. I was like, oh, I've done 30K. How hard is 42? It's a lot farther. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
it is a lot.
At
farther.
35, I was like, you know what? How hard could this be? At 35, I realized just how hard this could be.
Yeah.
That's when it really struck me. I'm like, my feet, you don't think about it, because I know I could work out for 5 hours straight, 6 hours straight. That wasn't the hard part. It's just, I didn't think the 50,000 steps we took in a single day, because that's what it was. It was 50,000 steps. An active day for a normal person is 15, 20,000. That's a day.
Yeah.
We did 50,000 in that one race.
Yeah.
So
I think also the thing is too, we had to do it ourselves. We planned, prepared, all that stuff. We didn't train a lot, but we didn't have you don't have the on-course aid stations. You don't have the people cheering you on. You don't have there's nothing there. The course is not even though we planned it and we got lucky. A lot of the 20K to 42 a lot of it was downhill. Well, you go up a little bit, going from the beaches, almost the area of Toronto, kind of Cherry Beach, all the way to Port Credit. A lot of it does go down, so we had that as a benefit, but. Personally, I think doing an actual marathon with people would probably be a lot easier, because you're mentally you're prepared, you're excited for the day, all that carries you through it. The endorphins, while you're running, chasing people with pacers and all that stuff, it helps a lot. But I mean, yeah, we did it. It worked out well, and pretty happy I did it.
Well, yeah.
And honestly, once I finished, I was the next weekend, I was can we go run a 50 miler or something, or a 50K? I don't think I'm ready. I'm not ready at that point yet. But I can tell you for sure, I will be running more marathons than I will be running.
Next year, you know what we'll do? We'll join up with the Ernesto and the neighborhood guys and do a lot of the run club stuff.
For sure.
Maybe we'll start a Pals run club randomly.
Yeah.
Maybe not our own, but maybe we'll join theirs and get a group of runners together because it was a fun day.
Yeah. I also say this, like, it is a little bit colder and harder to run now, but I still...
Oh, yeah, absolutely no. I'm doing
I ran today. I did like 2.5K, did a short run today. But that being said, if anybody ever wants to run or do anything like out, even a walk, get outside, whatever, for a jog, I'm always down. That's one thing that, like, literally any single person, if I've met you once, if that's a word, none, a couple times, if we're best friends, hit me up. I will run with anybody anytime. I love running with people. Whether you're a beginner, novice, expert, whatever, I'll run with anybody.
Yeah, I'll walk.
Yeah.
I'm a walker.
You'll run?
I'm not running anymore this winter. It's too cold for me to run. I'll walk.
Today was nice.
I'll go on nice long walks. Saturday evening walks, like nice 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sunsets. We'll walk down to the lake. So, but I think you got one more.
Just one other thing too is make sure you have good shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you. Like, I don't know. My shoes were okay. It was probably the last race I ran with those. I was my like.
We gotta hang them up here somewhere.
My Nathan Bell Zoom Flies are the pink ones that have black graffiti on them. Really good, and like they held up. But yeah. Anyways, we don't need to get into any more tips and stuff on marathon running because that stuff we can. That's very specific.
Yeah, no, but we definitely wanted to touch on it because, at least for me personally, I think I speak for you on this too, George. That's a very big milestones in our lives.
I think so.
It's something that, especially with everything given that's happened this year, it's nice to celebrate a personal accomplishment, and I think it's important to as well. Everyone listening at home, when you do something that you don't think you can normally do, or something that most people normally can't do, celebrate it for yourself. Whether it's a little celebration or a big one. We had a couple drinks the other night, not really a celebration for this, but just in celebration of things. And we wanted to come on this podcast just to talk about it because it was a very powerful, moving, rewarding feat. Yeah.
The biggest thing is honestly with anything, whether like not just the race and it could be anything, but this year naturally like 2020 has put a lot of obstacles in everyone's way. What doesn't matter what it is, whether it's health wise, business wise, whether it's your physical health, whether it's just seeing people, whatever it is, there's been obstacles put into everyone's way at some point or another in the last 11 months. It's easy to find a million excuses. Like if you really care about something, you really want to do something, honestly, all the limitations you're setting on yourself, unless you have like if it comes to something, to do something, a physical challenge, if you have an actual physical injury, there's obviously a natural limitation in the way. But a lot of limitations you put on yourself to do something or accomplish something you didn't think you could do are imposed upon yourself mentally. So, if you think you can't run 5K, 10K specific to running and you're not hurt, you don't have some kind of chronic condition, like you can do it. It's the mental strength to do it. If you want to, like we said, start a business, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to do anything, a lot of the barriers you put on yourself, you impose, like they're self-inflicted. So there's a little bit of the year left, guys. Go out and do something. Like go do something awesome. There's a month and a half left. A lot of time to do something and end 2020 here on the right note. But anyways, let's... No,
I like that. That was great. That's a good way to wrap up the marathon talk.
Yeah.
We've also got some other cool announcements that we want to tell you guys.
I don't think we ever had announcements,
Now
this, you know what I mean? It's like...
This is the announcement episode.
The PA system. The morning's announcements are...
Good morning, pals. Here's the announcements.
Here's the announcement of the week. We should do this more often.
Yeah. Well, Georgie and I have been talking, and we record twice a week. We release twice a week. We took a little bit of a break, but you guys don't know about because we kept releasing episodes.
We're slick behind the scenes.
Yeah. We're going to start doing little, maybe 15, 20-minute individual segments on things about our lives and personally what we're either going through, what we're doing, fun things that we've done. George is an avid reader, reads 3 books a week, 4 books a week.
Whoa, not that much. But
you just said you finished 3 books on the Kindle.
I've had the Kindle for like 2 weeks now or something. And I haven't finished per se. My definition of finishing.
Regardless, you go through a good amount of books. I've got some fun things that I do as well too. So we're going to start sharing some of those in little quick 15, 20-minute segments of us just talking. So I think it's a random idea. We don't know what we're going to call them yet. George, you got any ideas for yours?
Something. Honestly, I don't know.
We'll come up. If you got any ideas or suggestions, let us know.
If you notice how we title our episodes, all of them, like they're all titled "The Pals Talk to Blank," so it'll probably be something to the degree or something to the effect of like your pal George or your pal Rick, or George talks about this or Ricky thinks about this, whatever. But it'll probably say like our first name, our initials, whatever, at the beginning, and then that will indicate that it's just an episode by ourselves. Yeah. We're not breaking up. The pals ain't going
No,
nowhere.
we're not going.
But we just figured,
you see this artwork behind us. We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. No, but we just figured like
it'd be fun.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes like we just.
Actually, that did sound like a breakup announcement almost.
Yeah, no, we ain't going nowhere.
No, we're good. We're good.
We pals, we homies.
We talked about a marathon. That was our like big bang before a breakup.
We out.
We out.
No, we just figured like sometimes we have different passions. Sometimes we just have thoughts in our head you want to get out. Honestly, like I could tell you personally, and I make fun of myself a lot on this, and I'm like when I start talking, I talk myself in a circle sometimes. I lose my train of thought. Honestly, my episode's probably going to be a lot of gibberish, but sometimes they'll be articulate. I don't know what they're going to be about, but
you'll as a listener, you'll get a lot of value out of these little tidbits, whether it's a good recommendation, whether it's something that you didn't think about, whether it's something you just heard on the radio or on someone else's podcast that you just want to bring attention to. So
maybe like our habits of how we keep ourselves accountable, maybe things that like mean value to us, how we start our days, how we stay healthy mentally, physically, how, our hobbies, kind of a little bit of insight into like, I guess ourselves more so.
I think mine will probably be a lot of vibe based. A lot of pick me ups. A lot of re-ups on the vibes. What do you think?
I was trying to think. I don't know. I was trying to think of like Ricky's GVO with Rick or something.
GVO with Rick.
I was trying to think of some name.
Well, we'll think of something funny. But
we'll see how those go. It's not something like we're married to, just something we're gonna test out and see what happens. So, if anyone's got any good names for my episode or Rick's
or mine, yeah,
hit us up.
And then another thing that we're going to do is, again, we're going to start doing these kind of quick episodes with me and Georgie and without a guest to talk about a lot of the things that are happening in our lives. We've got an app that's going to be launching in the next few weeks or so, which is super exciting for us. And we don't want to talk too much about it on this episode because we're going to get into it on future episodes. But the more we do these episodes, just me and Georgie, if there's anything you guys want to know about, anything you want to ask us, feel free to hit us up. Just shoot us an email or send us a DM on the Pals account or our personal account. Hit up Georgie on LinkedIn. Send us emails. If you have our numbers, text us. We got a lot of questions based on, how'd you start the podcast? How'd you get this person on? How'd you get this? How'd you do that? If there's anything you want to know, just ask us. I'd like to think we're pretty open books. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying our podcast is, the most successful podcast ever, but considering we are two very average Joes, our podcast is, in our opinion, very successful, at least in the city of Toronto. And we've got good brand recognition now, too. And we've had some amazing guests. Again, if you don't watch, Penny Alexiak, Donovan Bailey, Erica Branson, the list goes on.
Anthony Ricciardi,
Jonathan Azario. So many cool, exciting people. So we've made this podcast into a fun little business of ours that we enjoy doing and we love having it. So if there's anything you want to know about the podcast, or maybe it's about us personally, how did George train for this marathon? Or, what's some of his favorite books? Or how did I run a marathon with no training? Anything you want to know, just hit us up and ask us. And we'll do a little kind of ask us anything segment. We need a name for that too, though. But
I can't think of it. I'm usually really creative. But I think we'll do them like maybe once a month, maybe once every other month or something, like the ones of us two. Again, these are going to be sporadic. Like we typically, if anyone's been keeping track at home, we release every late Sundays, early Mondays.
Do we?
And then we release when George gets to his computer. But
when I remember to text him, he forgets every time.
Yeah, terrible. We release like twice a week, but these ones will be kind of filtered in either as replacement episodes or somewhere in there. We don't know yet. We'll see how that goes. But to the point that Ricky made is that, I think we try to do a good job when we have guests on. It's not talk too much about who we are. We want to find out about our guest. It's cool because, like we said from the beginning, the purpose of this podcast was not, number one, is for us to hang out more, which weirdly enough, we hang out even more than like we need to. I think not need to, but like we just have so much that the podcast is like a byproduct of that. But one of the things too is we just wanted to hang out with interesting people and hear like interesting stories and hear people who are doing good things. And that was the main purpose. So, now that we're kind of nearing the point of being a year into this podcast, we think it would be cool to kind of do episodes and really dig deeper into like who we are as people, how we got into this, what we enjoy, what we don't enjoy, just a little bit of background or just stuff we like to talk about. There's a lot of stuff. I think we can share a little more value and, so that's kind of the purpose. They might be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes. Like we don't know yet. Just kind of, we'll start them up and see what happens. To the point that Rick, I just lost my train. I just missed that whole point again. What I was going to say was, for like why we want to do an episode of just us is we want to answer questions again about anything you guys want to know. So there'll be kind of like AMAs, if you will, where we might answer them at the beginning, at the end. We don't know, but if you do have questions, DM them, email them, Do you give the email over?
Our email's out there. Or you can just email us from the Instagram
email,
account.
whatever. Like I said, hit me up on LinkedIn. Honestly, guys, please hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm trying to grow that following. But yeah, and then we'll start answering them. I'm probably going to do one mid-December.
Yeah, we're going to do them sporadically. They'll come up. You'll get the notification if you have the notifications on. And also on that point, for people who, a lot of people ask, like, where's your new studio? I want to see the space. Or I want a sweater. I want this. I want that. Man, hit us up and just come by. We're going to start hosting, not parties here by any means, but a couple little one-on-ones or little get-togethers here, because we're very proud of this space and we're very proud of some of the things we're doing, and we want to share some of these ideas and these thoughts with people in person. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with COVID happening, we're not going to be having parties. We're going to be careful. We're not trying to extend our circles. That being said, though, we do want to meet people and hang out with our closer friends and some of our friends. So, hit us up and let's grab coffees. Let's come swing by the studio, come see the space, get creative with us.
We're also in a pretty cool area here. Like our office is located in a very, I think, pretty cool area, trendy area. Yeah. So, but the thing is, a lot of outdoor space. There's some parks around the corner and all that stuff. Obviously, we're very mindful of the restrictions of COVID. We're very cautious when we have people come in, like masks and all that and social distancing. But it doesn't.
I got mine on right now,
and I don't have mine over here. This is 6 feet, but. We do, it's fun to interact with. One of the reasons we got this studio space is obviously we like to have a space that's not my living room, but it's nice to have a space that we can use as both a studio and there's a little bit of office behind the camera, to collaborate, to talk to people, to meet people, talk about ideas. Like Rick said, give out some merch and stuff. I guess you guys can't see it in the shop, but we have a whole rack full of PAL sweaters and cast
some
sweaters.
other stuff.
We'll get into that later, but. Guys, hit us up. I promise we're very approachable. The fame has not gotten to our heads.
Georgie, if people want to hear more about you, what you're doing, where should they go?
Hit up LinkedIn. That's it. Oh, are you gonna say?
No. What is your actual LinkedIn?
Oh, it's George. My name is George Boutsalis, but my LinkedIn is like that LinkedIn.com/Boutsalis.
See,
where can they find you?
If you want to know more about me, what I'm doing in my life, you can follow me at your pal Rick, or hit me up on Facebook. I don't go on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn too, not as big on as Georgie. And yeah. Oh, George, you know what we didn't mention? One last thing before we wrap up. Tell us about your website.
Oh no, I just did it for fun. I did it for me.
My bad.
I mean, I made a website, but it's not like a website. It's just more so because I don't exist in the digital space. Yeah. I made a landing page, so you can go and email me there too. GeorgeBoutsalis.com. Pretty sick domain. I made it in 30 minutes, guys, so be easy on me. But yeah, if you want to email me, I don't give out my personal email or my work emails, but I created one there. It's hello@GeorgeBoutsalis.com. You can email me if you want to talk to me.
All right. Georgie, I think I don't want to go on too much longer unless you got...
What's the best thing that happened to you this week?
Ooh, I like that. The best thing that happened to me this week. I'm actually going to say today.
Oh, you had a nice day, like you just.
So shout out to Virgie. I know Virgie listens.
Shout out to Virgie.
This is probably one of the best birthday gifts someone's gotten my mom. That's like not like super. Like my dad bought her a really nice watch. That's a sick gift. Don't get me wrong. But today, Virgie's gift to my mom for her birthday was she got us a studio rental and a photographer, Hannah. Shout out Hannah. Pleasure seeing you again. To do a 1 hour family portrait like photo shoot. So we all got dressed up, and that's why I'm wearing this cute little knit sweater. My brother had one on, my dad had one on, and the girls obviously got the women got dressed up really nicely. But it was such a good gift, and the five of us went there. We took time off work, went down there. We just everyone's smiling, having a good time. I'm taking pictures with John and Virgie, my mom, my dad. They're kissing and being all cute, and it was just a good vibe. And you walked in there, they had good music playing in the background. I actually Shazammed a couple songs while we were there, like a loser. But it was just a good vibe. So I think about, the things I really care about in my life is being happy with the people I love. And today was, for this week, that was hands down the highlight of my week thus far. Yeah. Nice. Georgie, what about you?
Honestly, today. For a different reason.
Hell yeah, buddy. Today's a good day.
Oh, even just this.
Wednesday, November 18th. Heck yeah.
Oh, 30 years ago today. Got dunked in naked. My little finger out, hanging in the whole tub in the Orthodox Church. But no, today was nice because I had a lot of stuff to do with like work stuff with the different things that we're involved with, and also my personal business. But like Rick mentioned about the Kindle, I've been like reading a lot. Honestly, I'll plug this Kindle. I was very skeptical at first because I thought I like reading paper books. Like that thing, time just flies on the Kindle. It's easy. You can read with one hand. So yeah, I got to read a lot today in between like calls and all that stuff, which I really enjoyed. Yeah.
So it was a good personal day.
Really good personal day. Well, I mean, I got a lot of stuff done for work. I had a few calls and everything.
You took care of
But
business.
like got up, went for a little run outside, got up. Yeah. It was really like calm, like introspective day, which is always nice. Took a nice little break, disconnected a little bit.
That's good. You know, George, I got a good question for you too. What's one thing that you want to do before the end of the year? Outside
That's
of
hard.
Outside of the things that we are doing and we're focusing on, what's something else? I just thought about that. I'm
really
gonna think about
hard.
my answer as well.
One thing I want to do before the end of 2020. One thing I want to do before the end of 2020.
It's tough because most of mine are attached to the podcast and the app.
You know what? This is a good. I think this is a good kind of thing. I'm gonna ask you the same thing, but kind of the same vein to end it on is, what I want to do is launch something that's. Let me phrase this properly. I want to launch something that brings people value, enjoyment, fun, which I think we did with the podcast. I mean, I think we did some of that, but I want to do it one more time before the end of the year. Because 2020, I may have said this before, I don't know, but it has been, truthfully, just like I've had bad times. I've had this. We've had stuff go bad with work, whatever, personal career. But I think it's been one of the best years. Not just from a sense of like I just leapt in with 2 feet with everything I wanted to do, and I don't have regrets. I mean, everyone kind of went through tough times personally as well, but I don't have any regrets of 2020. And for that reason, I think it has been the best year of my life. So I want to end it on the same way I started it, in doing something that will bring some kind of enjoyment, which is something we will talk about later in the app we're launching in Cast, which is, if you can see the sweater I'm wearing. But again, we're not going to get into that now, but I want to launch Cast and just hopefully it does bring positive value to the world and changes one person's life for the better. That's what I want to do.
That's a great answer.
What do you want to do, my pal?
That's a great answer. So I don't want to give an answer related to the app because obviously
You can.
it's just
Did I steal your answer?
no, because when I asked the question, I said besides the app and the podcast.
Sorry. But I know that's fair, but it's so hard to think.
Because
Like I would have said if
even
you travel or something, but you can't, right?
With the podcast, I do want to try and hit 100K before the end of the year. It's a small little victory. We're not, unless we get some big episodes coming up, we're not on pace to hit it. We'll probably hit it late January, which is okay because again, each download and each listen, and for everyone that does listen, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Like this has been such a great experience. And I remember when we were in the middle of let's say March and April, COVID prime, we were getting 10 downloads a day, and I'm thinking, what's
the point?
What's the point? And me and George are doing this over the phone, and we're disagreeing on if we should do it back in person or if we should use Skype or Zoom. And I'm holding the phone, walking around my house, thinking, we're doing this for 10 downloads a day, like. And then you think about it now, we're getting a couple thousand downloads each episode. We got hundreds of downloads daily. It's a good feeling. So besides that, and then obviously with the app, building something that we can say has been years in the making, and that it's evolved naturally over time, and that we've actually put so much, time, money, energy, mental capacity, and emotion into is such a valuable thing. So just launching it, which I know we're going to launch, and we're on track for it, and I'm so pumped. Just launching it to me is such a victory because you've talked about doing a million different things, and George is the king of ideas, and we've got, to be honest, he's got a million ideas, and we've talked about doing 50 of them at least, and Cast and the podcast are probably two of the only ones that really came to fruition.
In the podcast, you had the idea of the podcast.
Was the podcast mine?
I think so. I thought you said
it was our idea. It's
yeah.
idea.
Like, I'm just saying. Like I think that's something.
It was probably
it's a
mine,
good idea, pal.
So
we did one of your ideas this year.
Yeah, those are that.
Just,
but aside from the podcast and the app, I want to finish 2020 in the best overall shape of my life. Like, no, I'm not talking physical or mental. I'm just talking about I want to come into 2021 at like the best version of Ricky ever.
Peak Ricky.
Yeah, peak Ricky. Like
that's a good term. I like that. Peak.
Super Saiyan Ricky.
Peak Ricky is a good peak.
Ricky, like I just there's been parts of my life where I've been I've hit lows and I've hit highs, and physically speaking or mentally speaking, emotionally, I've been on such roller coasters over the last 5 years at least, where it's like I just want everything to come together and rise all at once and meet me. Maybe where my mental health is right now is some of the strong. It's going to be okay. Let's get my emotional strength up there. Let's get my physical strength up there, and let's have everything meet at the top and just come into or end 2020 on that note and get ready to just kick 2021's ass.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it's relative too. Like, not to get all like philosophical here, but nah, you know what? That's a good way to put it. I'm not gonna get into that because I was gonna say, like, even if this was like kind of here, I feel like you're someone's like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna push farther. Like, I think as you're making,
you don't know what your peak is.
You don't know, because the thing is, even if you hit it, you're gonna want to hit it better next year.
Oh, for sure.
But I guess that's the, you know what? That's a good thing to end it on, right? You should always be striving for more. Be content with where you are, but also just be aware like you can pursue more, you can chase more, you can do more, you can get better, but also be comfortable with who you are and where you are in life. Things are going to go right, things are going to go wrong. You're going to be emotionally worse off, mentally, physically, whatever. If you can be comfortable in the skin you're in the stuff you're doing, in your relationships, and all this stuff, it's all relative. So you can say, yeah, I want to end 2020. I agree with you. Like, that's a good way to have it, because like, I want to end the best. But that'll just set you up, because the new page turns, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm in the best. LFG. How can I get better? LFG.
Exactly.
And you know what? 2020's been, again, it's relatively speaking, it's been a great year. You make the best of everything. You have to make the best of it. You roll with the punches in life. We got a studio. We got cast launching soon, which is like, it's killing me not to be able to talk about it right now. But we said we're gonna wait. We're gonna stay calm. That's something we're really excited about. But again. And I'm going to say again, because I'm going to, again.
I was going to say, you've been saying it a lot this episode.
It's one that you know what, though? But I want to do, because I want to echo Ricky's point. Honestly, truthfully, I'm not saying this to sound like, trying to sound humble or trying to, say that cliche thing. But really, everybody listening, not just anybody who's watched at this point, even if you turned it off and you're not hearing this, even if you listened for a minute, if you've downloaded it once this year, if you've shared it, streamed it, messaged us, anything, every single one of those, of the 50K, what are we at, like 60, 70 now?
We're about 75.
75.
We're so close to
That's 75. We've made 70 episodes, 75,000 streams, something like that.
Total plays.
That is very humbling. And we hear the way we talk sometimes. We can, we might not sound always the most humble. We might joke around a bit and all that stuff, but it truly means the world to us. We said the goal, Ricky said, the purpose should be to bring value to one person or something. Value, what do you say? Value or entertainment? Value
or entertainment. Each episode to at least one person.
Right. And I think you guys have shown us that we've done that. Us and our amazing guests. So that means a lot to us. And hopefully we can continue to bring value and entertainment. We're going to hopefully make 2021 bigger and better. This year's not over yet. And we got some fun guests coming up as well.
And we got some fun surprises for 2021 already lined up. So
yeah.
We'll save those for the next episode.
Yeah.
And honestly, Georgie, I think this is a good point to wrap up.
Yep.
This was nice. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this.
The vibes did not lie.
VDL, baby.
VDL. And last thing to end on, we talked about the wall. If you guys saw the story, we have a wall here. It's all brick on this wall. This studio's a vibe. Has that old feel.
It's a vibe.
Bricks everywhere. Our intention is to get this wall slowly filled in, so guests sign it. So if you come by, one person comes by to pick up a sweater or come chat with us, or you're a guest, your name will grace this wall, and we hope that you can fill it up. But yeah.
Other than that, guys, again, if you made it to the end of this, we really appreciate it. If you don't mind, just subscribe. If you want to share this to your friends, if you share it, if you hit us up, first person to share it, we'll toss you a sweater. No biggie. Just come by, pick it up. Hit me up on Instagram, Georgie on LinkedIn. And other than that, that's a wrap. Great episode 76, baby. Let's go.
Peace.